Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Boise City Writer-in-Residence information session. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, and we're happy to have you here. And yeah, welcome.
We're going to kick things off here with introductions. I'm Joel Wayne, the Public Programs Manager at the Cabin.
I'm Jen Villalobos. I am the branch manager at the Collister branch at Boise Public Library.
And I'm Mackenzie Dunstan, Grants and Outreach Manager for the Department of Arts and History. So today, just to give you a sense of what this information session is going to cover, we are going to offer an overview of what the Boise City Writer-in-Residence program is, including eligibility requirements and some other kind of key bits of information regarding this program. We want to give you a sneak peek into the application, what questions are asked, what work samples you might consider including. We want to talk about criteria. So we do use a rubric to review all applications, and this does have a selection panel. So talk about that process and the timeline associated with it. And then we have a couple suggestions to make your application as strong as possible. And then we'll leave some room at the end for questions. Because this is a webinar, we do ask that questions come in through the chat feature or the Q&A, and we will read those out and respond to them to the best of our ability.
So if you are unfamiliar with the Boise City Writer-in-Residence program, we started this program in 2023 as a joint program between the Boise City Department of Arts and History, Boise Public Library, and the Cabin. So now we're currently going now into our fourth year. We're super excited. We're very proud of this program. It's incredible. It is funded by the city and it offers 6-month residencies. It provides local writers with time and a stipend of $5,000 to support their practice, and then connecting these writers with the community through monthly public programs and events. We're very community-centered. We are just looking really to build connections, as well as just part of our goal is to familiarize the community also with Boise Public Library, the Boise City Department of Arts and History, and the Cabin, and what resources that we offer, what kind of programs we offer. But it also gives this writer, the writer-in-residence, a chance to connect with the community and give the community, they can come in and experience something new. I mean, whether or not they are writers or just maybe writer curious. So they're welcome.
Just quick notes about the eligibility. There's not many things that you need, but first one is resident of Idaho. You need to be legally able to work in the United States. You need to be able to pass a thorough background check, and then 18 years or older. One of the questions that we do get asked a lot is whether or not you need to live in Boise. You do not technically need to live in Boise, although the 6 workshops or events that are held at the different library branches do make it so that you do need to be in person for those. So generally speaking, you need to at least live in the area.
So this residency supports and is open to writers of any form, medium, or genre. We especially encourage writers with experience leading workshops or teaching to apply. And this doesn't necessarily have to be writing workshops. It could come in a lot of forms, but having some experience leading a group through a learning experience is a big benefit here. There are 2 residency terms offered every year, and they fall within the City of Boise's fiscal year. So that's why you see the dates represented as they are. So we have 1 writer per term. So term 1 is October through March, and then term 2 is April through September. And this is consistent every single year, but these are this year's specific dates.
So you can access the application either through the Boise City Department of Arts and History, Boise Public Library, or the Cabin websites. So as you can see, there's a great example here on the screen of what the Boise City Department of Arts and History landing page looks like. It's through Submittable. It's a free account and there is no application fee.
Quickly going over the application itself, we require basic contact information, the residency term availability. That can be either your preference, or it's, you know, if you're teaching somewhere else or something, and so you can only do one of the terms. That's where you can notate it. 2 professional references, 4 short answer questions, 2 work samples, and then we do have an optional section for demographics questions too.
So these are the application questions that we ask. Each has a 500-word limit. So we hope that this gives an opportunity to share what you need to share while still being somewhat concise, as we often get quite a few applications. So reading both these responses and work samples is a lot of reading for our panel. But here's a preview. So we first ask about your creative or intellectual interest, your writing practice, and any current projects that you might be working on, whether that's something you're teaching, a novel you're working on, anything of that nature. We next ask about community engagement and public programming. This is a big part of this residency, so we ask you to share a little bit about both your past and current experiences with developing these sort of engagement opportunities. So this could be educational programming, you know, planning and facilitating events or workshops. Once again, this can look a lot of different ways. We just want to understand how you create and perform these sort of events and leads a group through an experience. We then ask about your program proposal. So as mentioned a couple of times now, with this residency, there is an expectation of 6 public programs that can take many forms, but we want to know what your plan is. So if selected for this residency, what sort of events or experiences or workshops would you want to put on for the community of Boise? I would say that the more thorough you are here, it really strengthens your application because it gives the panel a strong sense of what you want to do and how you want to do it. We understand that things change, things might shift as you get closer to the term if selected, but this just gives us a really solid sense of where you're going. You may want to consider the type of experience. So is this a workshop? Is this a reading? Is this collaborative experience? What sort of topics or learning goals you would want to cover, who your intended audience is, and your ideal group size. Our library branches vary in size with varying room capacities. So this is something we also look towards to understand how many people you would want to serve through your public program. It is worth noting with these public programs, we've got the library branches, of which there are 5, and then we also typically host one at the Irma Heyman House as well, which is one of the City of Boise's cultural sites. And then the last question we ask is what inspired you to apply for this residency? So why now? What do you hope to accomplish or gain through your lens as a writer? What do you hope to give to the community? What is inspiring you to participate in this?
So there is a panel of us who go through all of the applications, and this is the rubric that we use to evaluate our candidates. And you can see that there is the CV and relevant experience. We look at your creative summary. We evaluate the proposal, and then we also evaluate the work samples. I'm not going to read each of these criteria because that would be completely tedious. And so, but maybe screenshot if you just kind of want to have an idea of how we evaluate candidates. So this seems to be something that in the past people have asked how we do this, and so now we are being very transparent in how we evaluate our candidates.
A little bit about the panel and on the timeline. So the review panel is composed of two representatives from the cabin, Boise Public Library, and the Department of Arts and History. That is the three of us here, but then there is another representative from each organization that also joined for that. So it's a six-person panel. All those panel members have background or experience with literary arts or program development, particularly community program development. Applications are reviewed by individual panelists. It's early August through early July through early August, and then the entire panel gathers in August to narrow that down. Generally, we do 3 to 4 finalists who we interview. Finalists are interviewed in August, and all applicants are notified of the status, and new residents are announced publicly in September. It's a quick turnaround, but it's worked for us so far in the last 3 years.
Yeah, so some suggestions as you think about your application. Once again, having that clear vision for your community engagement, what you want your 6 public program experiences to look like, filling out those details to the best of your ability is really, really helpful for the panel to understand your goals, your hopes, your dreams. Those past community engagement examples, as a reminder, can include teaching, leading workshops, even in non-literary subjects, or other guided learning experiences. And if you have any questions about would this fit or not fit, you are welcome to reach out to any of us here for clarity on that point. When it comes to choosing your writing samples, I would strongly encourage that you pick things that you are really proud of and strongly reflect your voice and craft. We don't require these writing samples to be from the last couple years, but I do think it can be helpful to show sort of more recent work if that is available. And then when it comes to those writing samples, it is 10 pages max per writing sample. And if you are a poet, there can be multiple works across those 10 pages. So just something to keep in mind.
So the deadline to apply is Monday, July 6th at 11 p.m. Mountain Time. As Mackenzie said, if you have any questions regarding the application, the process, please feel free to email any of us. We are happy to answer any questions. And so now I guess we will just open it up to questions if there's any questions in the chat.
I think one important additional thing to note is that because Joel, Jen, and myself are on the review panel, we cannot review your application in advance. So if you want someone to give your application a look before you submit, would recommend finding a trusted peer or friend to give it a good look. But that is not a service we can offer. Someone is wondering about spouses who are employed by the City of Boise or library. I'm interpreting this question as are you eligible to apply if you have a family member or a spouse that is an employee? You are eligible to apply. If you are the employee of the City of Boise, you are not eligible. So if you're, but if your spouse is, that's okay. That's fine.
And also, I would add to that with the cabin, same kind of thing. But teacher writers at the cabin are absolutely eligible to apply.
Yeah, that's right.
So real quick, the question is, do you have to be published? And the answer is no. No. What this residency is really trying to capture are emerging and mid-career writers, and so that might be someone who doesn't have publishing credits or is just starting on that journey, but maybe has extensive teaching or workshop experience then too. It's obviously the writing sample is one component of that, but the publishing credits are not. That would be included on your CV. But again, if you have good experience with programming for community workshops or community engagement events, it's not a necessity for you to be published.